Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another series review. This is the review of Sinbad, House of Games. And in this particular episode, Sinbad finds himself in the middle of the desert and he comes across this area where there are these bowls, and he flips a coin into one of the reservoirs, the bowl itself, and then they are allowed entry into this um, mystical realm, so to speak. It's a tourist trap. Actually, it's kind of like limbo. Once you go in, you can never get out if you're a compulsive gambler. Um, Marina, she leaves the crew earlier and she sneaks away, and they find her in the House of Games later, and she goes by a different name, and of course everybody in the crew recognizes her, including Princess Nala, and they all kind of make derisive comments about her, and I thought, ooh, dang, snap. But it was really funny, that particular part of the episode. And then you've got these two twins. Um, they're both very affluent, and I think they are the ones that made up the game to begin with to entrap people. And they actually fight over Sinbad, and that particular scene is really quite amusing, particularly when he gets caught with the man that he was having a boat race with earlier. And unfortunately, the Providence is put into the gamble. And the thing with the Providence is, Sinbad is as much as the Providence is him. And should he lose that, it is more than likely that he will die, because, you know, if you've watched the show long enough, the curse itself, it ties him to the sea. He can only live for one day and night, and if he doesn't, then the curse will ultimately destroy him. He does not reveal this to his crewmates until this very episode, and the only one who knows about it is Amor, who's the doctor. And of course, he says Amor told no one, so Amor doesn't tell anybody. I really liked this episode. I thought it was extremely well done, and there are a lot of mystical elements within it, and it just keeps getting better. I actually watched 2 episodes, so I'm going to be reviewing the next episode after it, which it was called The Old Man in the Sea, which I don't know why, but this has got to be my favorite episode thus far. Well, House of Games was really good too. I really enjoyed it because it just had that kind of unusual mythical feel about it, and this one had more of that, especially with Anicetus. And if you translate that, and I didn't know this is something I just learned, but Anicetus translated is unconquerable. His Amor actually mentions that. He probably is familiar with Greek, being a doctor. Who would have thought that would have come in handy? But what occurs in this one is they're on their way to Barak, the city, and or Baruch, excuse me. They're on their way to Baruch, and there's no wind. They have very little water left. Their rations are low, and Cook starts going nutty. I thought, mutiny above the ship, and the Providence is gonna go insane. But you know, he's the first one that loses his marbles, and he starts seeing mirages, and it's kind of funny, but it's also very unnerving to see Cook acting in this way. And I thought, oh my God, they're all doomed, because he's the only one that can make them any food properly. None of the rest of these guys know anything about culinary arts. So what occurs later on in this episode is they keep seeing the ship in the distance, and they go aboard, and they see all these dead fish, and I thought, this doesn't feel right. Why are they going? Sinbad turned back, but no, didn't happen. they keep going forward, and they get on board the ship, and they find this wedding feast that was there, and it reminds Nala of her past. And the reason being is she was supposed to be given for her people as this kind of bride's ransom to save them. Actually, Anicetus knows this, and we figured that out later, but it's very intriguing. I'm not going to say why, but there is hints of Hades and Persephone in this episode, and you'll see exactly what I mean if you've ever gotten into the series this far. This is a really exemplary episode. It's very creepy, and it's unnerving, and it's spooky, and there are a lot of elements in it that I really enjoyed. And I have some theories about the Northman. I think that the Northman is the last of his kind. He's the only one on the ship other than Marina who's fair-skinned. He's the most fair-skinned of them all. He's blonde. I'm thinking he's Viking. Maybe he has some Viking heritage because he's very fair. He's almost platinum. I don't know if my theory is right, but we'll see. We really don't know a lot about, or I think his name is Gunnar. We don't know a lot about Gunnar's character. We learn a lot about the different characters. Amwar. We learn about Nala. We know about what happened to her father. If we've seen episode 1, we know exactly what happens to Daddy Dearest, and that's really quite unfortunate. Yeah, we know who had dealings with that from episode number 1. The sorceress, she's very interesting, and I'm wondering what her angle is with the Emir, but it's made more clear in this particular episode that she has romantic feelings for him, and she's using her sway over the Emir, I think, because she can, and she has the wiles to do so, and it's all very fascinating, I think, to just see their dynamic. I'm intrigued by her, even though I'm slightly weirded out by her. There are lots of there's a lot of symbolism in this episode, particularly with butterflies, and yeah, that I really liked that because I've always enjoyed butterflies, and this is the reason why. Anicetus is a very interesting character, and then as you go further into the episode, you'll see why. And you think at first that oh, this is going to be the end, and they're all going to die of starvation and dehydration. But fortunately, there actually is a happy ending. I won't say what. But if you watch this episode the entire way through, you will be glad you did, because I think that this particular episode is my favorite so far. I've really enjoyed the series up to now, and I'm eager to see what will be coming up next for the crew. And gosh only knows, it could take any route, and they have definitely done their studying correctly, because in this period of time there was a plague going about, so they got that right, and I thought, yes, they actually did something correctly. BBC, they're behind it, and they're backing it, and they're the historical experts, so I think that they know their stuff pretty well. Other than that, the Providence. I'm going to go back to House of Games for a minute. I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but House of Games, the Providence, the way the Providence is designed, the way that it's the look of the Providence, the sails on the Providence and on the other ship, they're differently done. They're not exactly uniform as you would call a ship's sails. I love the way the Providence looks. I don't know who is responsible for design or costumes or anything like that, but whoever was in charge of doing makeup and costumes and particularly set design, Providence most especially, because I'm a lover of all things transportation, and I love of anything maritime. I don't know what it is. I think that a seafaring adventure is so exciting. Um, but the Providence is just absolutely glorious. It is a gem of the sea, and it just looks so formidable and fast and fierce. And yes, I think that every time it would have the upper hand just because it's just a sleeker vessel. Maybe it's because it's supposed to be in the name Providence, of course. You know exactly what that means. Uh, Fortune is smiling upon them. God is smiling upon them. God has them in their protection. It seems that he really does in this particular series, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And their knowledge of mythology, it comes together so flawlessly here, just so seamless in the way that transitions from one scene to the next. And uh, this has a lot of good humor in it, so it's not entirely dark and ominous all the time. Though this particular episode had some rather um, ominous themes in it, particularly with the Enchantress. And I thought, yeah, this is going to be important later on. I'm pretty sure of that. And it's just you want to slap the Emir because you just want to say to him, hey, look, wasn't Sinbad's fault that your son got killed. He didn't have anything to do with it. And he didn't. And it just think, what is wrong with you? Why are you so hell bent on having Sinbad killed? Well, I think that the Emir himself is mentally unstable, and I think that he is psychotic and power hungry. Yeah, he has all those genuine qualities of a villain, so I just don't like him. No, not at all. But other than that, I have to say that both of these episodes were superb, and I just can't wait for the next episode to come out next Saturday. So when it does, I shall see you then, and until next time.